Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, April 16, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by a high pressure ridge that's sending a lot of easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And we can also see that the southern US is being affected by a cold front at this time. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see those low level clouds being pushed from east to west across the main development region into the Caribbean. And we can also see a lot of clouds across portions of the Gulf of Mexico associated with that cold front. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean's weather later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made for today's weather in yesterday's video. It was stated that we would have received some amount of rainfall across portions of eastern Jamaica in the morning, and then across portions of central and western Jamaica during the afternoon. And we indeed had that early morning rainfall in the wee hours of the morning. And then we had that buildup of clouds across sections of central and western parishes in Jamaica, with more of the bias across sections of northern Jamaica, just like what we stated, especially with that upper level wind shear. Because if we take a look at the visible satellite images in the post that was made at 2:31 p.m., we see those clouds across portions of central and western Jamaica, and then the upper level winds pushing the clouds off from the west southwest to the east northeast. That would have been bringing more of the weather across portion of northern Jamaica, just as predicted. And if we even take a look at the visible satellite images right now before the sun went down, we can still see that we have some amount of lingering clouds across sections of those parishes, even up to recording hour as the sun is leaving. So we still see some amount of clouds across portions of Westmoreland, Hanover and portions of St. Elizabeth at this time. And considering that we have that upper level cloud being pushed off from west southwest to the east northeast by that wind shear, we know that that has a lot to do with some amount of cumulonimbus clouds, some thunder clouds, and as we know, those thunder clouds are usually accompanied by all of those lightning flashes or lightning strikes, which are indicated by all of those sparkling white dots. So we indeed had some amount of thunderstorms right there across portions of eastern Trelawney, western St. Anne, portions of southern St. James, sections of northwest St. Elizabeth, portions of Hanover, and Westmoreland indeed gotten on some of that as well. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images at this time, we know that Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall over a specific area as opposed to satellite images that show cloud cover, and we can have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily any rainfall at all. And we do indeed see some amount of rainfall represented by the green and some yellows in there across portions of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland and Hanover at recording hour right now. Taking a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology's accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours, we indeed had some rainfall across inland areas of central Jamaica, portions of northern Jamaica and portions of western Jamaica, just as we saw on the satellite images and Doppler radar images. So the predictions did indeed come true. Taking a look at the temperatures for tonight, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston and 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. And as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing 18 on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Monday. And we see that Jamaica is embedded in some slight yellows on both maps, which indicate at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures. And what are the average temperatures for the month of April in Jamaica? About 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. And considering that we should be receiving at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures tomorrow, we should be getting anywhere from, let's say, 31 to 33 degrees Celsius at most. Alright, so taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that for the most part Jamaica is still being embedded in some amount of moist air as indicated by the blues. We see some yellows and oranges to the south of the island. More than likely tomorrow we still have some amount of dry air to receive. However, as it relates to the Saharan dust, we can see that the forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday shows that Jamaica is in the clear. Majority of the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is right there across portions of the main development region as well as Africa. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are still showing a lot of blue surrounding the island that represent 1.5 meter wave heights or less, and that's due to the fact that we'll be receiving some weak winds tomorrow. Anywhere from 5 to 10 knot winds are expected coming in from the east, and as usual the weakest winds seem to be right there across portion of central and western Jamaica as indicated by the darkest blues as we can see on the key. And what happens when we have that air piling up in the area shaded in the darkest blue, we usually have that buildup of clouds which can lead to some amount of afternoon convection, afternoon rainfall, afternoon thunderstorms, and if we indeed get some amount of thunderstorms in the afternoon across portions of central and western Jamaica, more than likely that wind shear coming in from the southwest as we can see on both the Euro and the GFS models for 1 p.m. on Monday will be blowing all of those clouds, those upper level winds will be blowing all of the upper level tops of the clouds off towards the northeast, which might bring more overcast skies and possibly more of the thunderstorms across sections of northern parishes in Jamaica. So we're expected to see some rainfall across inland areas of maybe St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew, inland areas of Clarendon, inland areas of Manchester, inland areas of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, as well as portions of Hanover. And with the wind shear coming in from the southwest, we might have more of the rainfall across northern Jamaica or more of the overcast skies. So St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, even St. Mary might get in on some of that, as well as portions of western Portland. Taking a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we have consensus, we have agreement on both models at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 11 a.m. Jamaica time. We can see some blues on the GFS models. Where is that? Across portions of eastern Jamaica, maybe St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland. And we indeed have the consensus on the Euro model as well, but the Euro is showing some blues across portions of central and western Jamaica, so we have some amount of disagreement right there. But we're looking for consensus. Skipping ahead to about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about 3 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we have more of the blues across portions of central and western Jamaica, and we have consensus on both maps. I know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. So indeed, look out for that afternoon rainfall across portions of central and western Jamaica. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. And we indeed have some rainfall to receive. We have consensus, especially across sections of central and western Jamaica. The amounts are almost the same, especially across western Jamaica. Either way, we have some rainfall to receive tomorrow in Jamaica, and we're indeed grateful for that, considering that April is one of the driest months of the year. We usually receive up to 114 millimeters of rainfall during this month, so we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to continue to put a dent in that drought. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of low-level patches of clouds moving from east to west across the eastern Caribbean into the central and western Caribbean. We can see a lot of clouds, lots of afternoon convection taking place today across portions of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Cuba. We have a lot of clouds affecting portions of the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, portions of the Yucatan Peninsula associated with that cold front. And we can see a lot of cloud cover right there across portions of South America. So sections of Colombia, sections of Venezuela, portions of Guyana, French Guyana and Suriname getting in a lot of cloud cover and rainfall as well. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can indeed see that we had some amount of rainfall across the region for today. So especially Puerto Rico, we had some afternoon convection indicated by all of those greens and yellows and oranges within that indicates some heavy rainfall across portions of western Puerto Rico. We had some amount of passing rainfall across portions of the British and US Virgin Islands as well. We can see that for the most part, the eastern Leeward Islands are in the clear, so anywhere from Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica were in the clear for today. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we can see that we have a lot of rainfall, lots of passing showers even at this time coming in from the east, and we still have some more rainfall to get tonight, even right now as we speak. Even areas to the west of Barbados, so St. Vincent as usual, maybe even spilling into sections of Grenada, and we also have some rainfall across portions of St. Lucia as well. Taking a look at a wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see a lot of rainfall right there across portion of the Gulf of Mexico. That indeed confirms the clouds that we see right there. So we see the rainfall. We also see a lot of rainfall across portions of the northern and western portions of Cuba associated with their afternoon convection. We can also see that we have some rainfall right there across portions of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico associated with that cold front. And we also see some rainfall across portions of Colombia, Suriname, and French Guiana right there. Taking a look at the temperatures for tomorrow, we can see the below average temperatures right there across portions of the southern and eastern US, that is, portions of Mexico. We can also see below average temperatures right there across majority of the eastern Caribbean, with more average temperatures embedded in there as well. We can also see some slightly below average temperatures right there across portions of Colombia and sections of Panama as well. Some slightly above average temperatures can be seen across portions of Honduras and Nicaragua, anywhere from Jamaica northward as well. So Jamaica, Hispaniola, Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, and Florida will be getting it on those above average temperatures for Monday. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, we have some slight Saharan dust to receive at 2 p.m. on Monday across portions of the eastern Caribbean as well as portions of the southern Caribbean, so the ABC Islands as well, but it won't be that robust. The most intense dust will be right there, as indicated by the very brown shades across portions of the main development region. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS are showing that for the most part we have 1.5 meter wave heights or less to receive, and that's due to the fact that the winds won't be that strong coming in from the east across the Caribbean, anywhere from 10 to 20 knot winds at most coming in from the east. And we can also see that we have a lot of blues right there across portions of the Greater Antilles, which means that we have less winds to receive right there, so we might have more heat taking place, not to mention more afternoon convection building up. The weaker the trade winds, the more the buildup of clouds, the more convergence, the more rainfall. Alright, so taking a look at the rainfall, the accumulated precipitation from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday, we can see that we have consensus with the rainfall across portions of the Bahamas, portions of the Turks and Caicos, Cuba, portions of Hispaniola, Jamaica, portions of Puerto Rico as well. Not to mention the northeastern Caribbean. So those areas that were just mentioned to receive rainfall are still going to be receiving some rainfall. So anywhere from Barbados and St. Vincent northward to Guadeloupe, Dominica, Antigua, Anguilla, St. Martin might get in on some of that. Scrolling down southward, we can see some rainfall right there across portions of Guyana, western Venezuela. Portions of Colombia might even get in up to at least 3 inches of rainfall. We can see consensus on both maps right there. Lots of rainfall. We can also see some rainfall spilling into sections of Panama, portions of Costa Rica as well. Taking a look at the western portion of the basin, we can see a lot of rainfall right there across portions of Mexico, even up to 2 inches of rainfall or more being expected. And we can also see some of that rainfall across portions of Belize, Guatemala, and northwestern Honduras as well. And we know that when we have consensus on both maps, or agreement on both maps, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.